Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, we are the market. Yeah, it's pulling back a little bit. Tesla took a little bit of a dump today. Excuse me, can't believe it. It's amazing. I'm in Tesla, but it did pull back a little bit. Tesla got a new chief. Got a new. Tesla didn't get a new chief. Twitter, excuse me, got a new chief. Her name is Linda Vecchio, and I don't know. There we go. Her name is Linda Vaccaro, and she was formerly with NBC Universal, and she's going to be taking over in about 2 weeks on Twitter. Interesting choice. She was the advertising chief for NBC Universal, so she obviously, knows her way around digital marketing, and so that's probably one of the major reasons. So we'll see what's going to happen. With Twitter, of course, it's fully owned by Elon and other investors. It's not a stock company anymore, but hopefully this will bode well for for what's going on with Tesla. So interesting choice here, and it's definitely something that is very, very interesting. The market is in a confirmed uptrend, and so basically reason I put the slide up here, of course, is because theoretically, we should be getting better on this, but it's always strange because it's always strange the way it works. But here we go. Here we go again. We are definitely looking at at another leg up. I'm hoping that's what's going to be the case here with the market. So we'll see, just where it is. But the market is in a confirmed uptrend, and so we're looking at, we're looking at this confirmed uptrend. Hopefully, we're going to get, some more action. I've definitely been trying to improve my, I've been trying to basically move into the market more than I've been. And I just want to show you this, because I did say that I bought Tesla yesterday, and yes, I absolutely did. So I want to show you where my stop loss is. Currently, the close in the after hours is down 53 cents at 167.45. I'm in Tesla, a little higher than that, about 170. So I'm down about $2 a share. But I have my stop loss set at 162.20. So that's where I definitely have my stop loss set. So let's take a look at the chart for Tesla, and just take a look at it. All right, so Tesla, TSLA. Oops, there we go. So let's get that in there. So I'm gonna bring it over here. And there we go. We're going to add it. There we go. So you can kind of see what's going on here with the Tesla chart. Basically, this is the buy point here for well, that's not for Tesla. Let's get the right one. That's QQQ. TSLA is the symbol. That was the Qs. I sold my Qs today, by the way. I want to show you that. Okay, there we go. There's the live chart of Tesla. Sorry about that. We're definitely below that 200-day line, which, normally I say, well, I don't buy anything below the 200-day line, but there it is. We got some support at the 10-day line. As you can see, that's this little red, kind of pinkish line here. That's the line there. So we did get some support there. So hopefully, it does look like, at least for the time being, we are still sort of in an upward trend. I hope. Hopefully we can move past this key line, and that is the 50-day moving average. So hopefully we'll move past that. We shall see. But it is, even though it did pull back, hopefully it's still an upward trend. So let's kind of look at some of the numbers here. that we've got. The checklist is horrible. I'll tell you that. It's really only 56%. I'm trying my hand at bottom fishing. I'm not the greatest bottom fisher. You can tell that by this, but I have my stop loss set, and I just want to be crystal clear on that. My stop loss is set at 162.20. So that's where I'm at with the stop loss. All right. Well, that was a good try, but let's see if we can get some. Here are my current stocks. And let's take a look at those too. We've got, okay, the trade desk, that was down today, about 3.4%. Intel was up a little bit, believe it or not. This is my bottom fishing expedition here, down about 3 cents on, down about 3 cents on Intel, on Franco, on this is Anglo. This is the Canadian gold miner, down a little bit on that one. Up nicely on Google once again. That seems to be really strong. I did buy Rollins. Now Rollins believe it or not, is a pest control company. I mean, man, I don't know the last time I ever bought a pest control company, but definitely it's there. So let's look at the Rollins chart. ROL, and this is a very good looking chart. I mean, it's it's definitely a chart that makes sense. So let's take a look at it. Here's the Rollins chart. Basically, where I bought it was, well, let's see. Okay, let's flip the camera so you can see it on TikTok. Where I bought this stock was right basically here at 42.54. We're currently at 42.58. So we're up just really only 4 cents, not a whole lot. But here's the thing. We have this cup without handle formation, and it's forming the handle, the buy point 42.59. And this is a good looking chart. It's got a 8 out of 9 or 89% checklist. So that's looking pretty good too. So that's we'll see where it goes. Relative strength is a 90, so hopefully that will be the kind of chart that will make sense. We just hope so. Just hope so. All right, let's get to some of the questions. Thank you so much for taking a look today. And let's go. Okay, Sandeep, thank you. Google Golden Cross. All right, let's take a look at Google. That's also one of my favorites. I've been loading up on Google, and now there are two classes of the Google stock. They're both perfectly fine. There's Class C, which I've been trading, and then there's the Class A's. But both very good. Both basically the same. So no worries there in terms of that. So let's look at that. We've got a pretty nice move here. Now, I started buying it on the 10th here at 110. I bought a half position, basically right there, as you can see. That's kind of where. And why did I buy it there? Well, one of the reasons when you're a CanSlim investor and you start learning the CanSlim method, you look to see when something moves through resistance. As you can see, 109.63. That's the resistance. And it was there basically back, if we look, it was basically back there on the 17th, and then it kind of handled up. And then once it moved past that, you see this volume here? See this strong volume? That was the signal to get in. So that's where I bought there. And hopefully I was right about it. But let's take a look at the checklist. Not as good as the Rollins checklist. This is 6 out of 9. So it's still okay. Let's see if we could get into this. Let's just see. I'm going to look over the weekly chart here. Now, obviously, I wouldn't do anything before, can't really do anything before Monday, but let's take a look at the weekly chart to see if there's any kind of entry point here. Interesting thing, if you'll notice, we've been up very strongly this week. So far this week, we're up 11% on Google. So something's going on here. I think that, we're seeing some institutional investing coming in here. That's my guess. Let's take a look at the at the volume. Okay, you see this little red line here? That is the average volume. This is an exponential chart, not linear. So when this thing moves above that red line, that's a lot of buying going on there. So a lot of buying. That's institutional buying. So somebody is moving into Intel. We don't know who, of course, because we never can tell. But I can give an idea. So if I'm going to look at the ownership of this, we have a lot of, very, very big funds that are in this. Now, in this last quarter, we pretty much were stable at 4402 number of funds. That's a lot of funds that are in this one. So it does look like this being kind of one of the big cap leaders. The reason I'm going after Google and not Microsoft or Apple is I think that Microsoft and Apple are fairly priced. I think that Google moved down a little bit. And that's one of the reasons why I'm more bullish, at least for right now, on this stock. So let's look at some of the fundamentals on this. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger on the screen so you can see it better. There we go. The fundamentals are on the kind of the left-hand side. They're sort of right here. So kind of put that. Kind of look at this little box here so we can take a look at the fundamentals. We did report March. The sales were up about 8%. The quarter-of-quarter sales were down. So this is sort of a bottom fishing expedition for me. I'm not really, normally I would wait until we had more of a breakout here, but at least for right now, this is kind of what I'm doing. So this is one of the stocks that I do have currently is Google. Now, let's go to the stock of the day. That's Palantir. Now, I've traded Palantir a lot, never been hugely successful with it, but what happened today, very interesting thing on Palantir, is we had a gap up. So let's look at the live chart. PLTR, of course, is the symbol on Palantir. And if we go to the daily chart, let's go to the daily chart and move it right on over for people on TikTok so they can see what's going on here. This is the reversal line. We broke through the reversal line on on Tuesday. We had a nice little gap up. It then gapped up to the buy point. It gapped up to the buy point, but then it was rejected at the buy point. The buy point on this one, let's just check it, make sure that we're right on this. The buy point on this one is $10.31. Cup with handle, stage 1. This is a relatively bullish pattern. But it came with the cup with handle, stage 1, and then we pulled back. So we've got to see what's going to happen. I think it's going to go sideways here for a little bit. My guess is, and then it could pull higher. Now, one of the things about this stock is they came through earnings and the earnings were good. So let's look at that earnings really quick here to see kind of where we're at in terms of the earnings. There we go. We were up 18% in terms of the sales. We're up 159% in terms of the earnings. So this is definitely, hopefully this has turned a corner. I'm hoping that Palantir has indeed turned a corner. If it has, then this one might make sense to get into. It did have a cash flow, not very much, 3 cents. It's still very high PE, but this is not surprising because it is sort of a growthy stock. But they're expecting this year their sales to move up 252%. Now, we don't know. This is a tough market. It may not work in this market because this is a very, very tough market. But this is definitely one to put on your watch list. I don't currently own it, but I am getting more interested, that's for sure. All right. Oops. Go there. There we go. So back to the stocks that currently I have. Now, I do have Intel. That finally made a move up. It sort of pulled back and pulled back and pulled back, and then it's made it up right at the end of the day. So I want to take a look at that quickly. Let's look at Intel, INTC. And this is another bottom fishing expedition for me. I don't normally trade this way. I'll be honest with you, but even though they are firing people, unfortunately, at this company, it is still Intel. This is look, this is kind of the stock that started it all. I bought it right here. You know, my stop loss is 29.05. It triggered it triggered a stop loss. It triggered a stop loss, but I didn't sell my entire position. So we shall see. But I think it's going to bottom out here. That's my guess. So we will see what happens. I still own it, and we'll see what happens. I didn't sell all my position on the stop loss. What I've been doing is when I've been looking at, normally I would sell the whole position on stop loss, but because it's so volatile, I am just selling half of the position on the stop loss. So that's sort of how I've been working it for right now. Hey, this is Z. Thank you very much. Please explain the volume showing a downside, but a stock is going up, and vice versa. I'm always confused. Well, that's a good question. Let's go take a look at a good one. So let's look at Google. Okay, so well, let's look at Rollins, ROL. All right, there's Rollins. Okay, so zoom on over to Rollins. There we go. And see if I can explain this. Hopefully explain this. Okay, so here's what's going on. We have a stock that's going up. We have a stock that's going up, and we have a volume that's sort of going down. Well, what does that mean? Well, in this case, where the price is going up, there are fewer people willing to sell. This is a bullish sign, because what's going on here is that the reason the price is going up is that you can see there was a lot of demand. It came up right up to this red line. This is the average daily volume, came right up there, and then as it starts to move higher up to the pivot on this one being 42.59, you'll see that the volume is dropping down. And what does that mean? Well, when the volume is dropping down like that, that means fewer people are willing to sell at this price. So it's pushing the price higher. So as the volume in a blue bar, which is going, as the blue bar is going down and the price is going up, that's very bullish. But on the converse, if we look at a situation, something that's selling off, let's look at, trying to think something that is sold off significantly. Let's look at On. I think On sold off, and I'm not sure about that because I didn't look at this morning, but let's look at On. This is the sneaker company. ON. All right, this is the sneaker company. It's called On Holding. Yeah, there you go. I think this is going to give us some good things to illustrate here with. You notice how these are red spikes here, and they're moving up towards. This is the average daily volume here. See, and these are moving up now. This when you see a blue bar there, that means that the volume is going up on higher price. But the red bar means that the volume is going up, but the volume is less than average because it's under this little red line here, but it's actually on a downside. So what's happening is as it's going up, more people are buying it because it's above that line, and then as it's selling off back down to the 21-day line, this is the green line here. They're selling off. What's happening is that there are increasing numbers of people selling up, but they start to decline as we get closer to the 21-day line. So we can definitely, this shows support at this 21-day line. So if you were going to buy this stock, a great place to buy it would be at about the 21-day line, because as it comes down to the 21-day line, the amount of selling decreases. Okay, you see that? So as it gets closer to that 21-day line, selling decreases. So that's kind of a quick thing on the volume lines. I should go into this in more detail, but I need and I probably should make videos on this, because I think this is really, really important to understand not just this price action, but the volume action as well. All right, Lisa wants to look at TTD and Fortinet, which is of course a software security stock. So let's first look at TTD. Now I have TTD, and it didn't do that well today. So I don't know. I'm wondering. Now, part of the reason I like TTD, of course, is I like the area that it's in. I think internet advertising is going to be here to stay. I think that Google is going to be here to stay, because I think that this is in the modern world. This is how we're reaching people, is in internet advertising. So it's just there. All right, what happened with TTD? Now I am pretty confident in TTD as long as it remains above this red line here. This is the 50-day moving average. Now, here's something that is bullish right now, at least about this stock. You'll notice that the 50-day line moved above the 200-day line. This is the black line here. So this means that in the short term, it's going higher relative to where it's been. So, and if you can notice the slope on this is really tough to tell, but it's slightly sloping upwards. That means that there's more volume in the stock going higher in the last 200 days. So that's good. That shows institutional support. Now, if we look at the volume signature, we went through earnings. Now, typically earnings event is sort of a binary event. So this is why a lot of times, even if after good earnings, people will sell off. But we definitely had good earnings here because they were up. But you can see they sold off. Those are people covering their shorts. Those are covering shorts. So and then we've sold off some of the other positions. But the interesting thing about this is we didn't go down to we didn't get all the way down to the 50-day line. So my guess is that we will see, hopefully, keeping support here at the 50-day line. So this is TTD. This is the trade desk. Also, let's take a look at their fundamentals, because this is kind of what we're looking at here. And of course, we can see the fundamentals because they're over here in this box to the left. That kind of shows you there. But if we'll notice here, the sales were up 23% and the profits were up 10%. So that's very, very good. Those are two really good numbers. Also, you'll notice that the estimates for next year are to increase the profit. The profits are going to increase, according to their estimates, 17%. So it's a relatively strong forecast. So going forward, we get a strong forecast. In addition, it is also looking like in year 2024, it's looking to move up as well. So this is a good stock in that fundamentally, because we're typically increasing our sales 20% a quarter. That's a very strong sign, and we have projections of further growth in 2024. So that's one of the reasons why this has a higher PE ratio, price to earnings ratio, because the earnings, we're anticipating higher earnings in the future, so we're willing to pay more for it now. So that's kind of the fundamentals. That's fundamental analysis. We don't totally always trade on fundamental analysis, but it's important to look at the stock and how that will tell us long term kind of which stocks to be in and which stocks not to be in. That's even more important, especially in this environment. So all right, let's look at Fortinet. And Fortinet, this is the computer software security stock. FTNT, of course, is the symbol on this one. Palo Alto Networks, PANW, is one of the competitors to this one. But and I want to do a comparison against those two stocks really quickly. I currently don't own this one. This is a very good stock, though. We came down and we tested right at 60. You can see that. We came down right at 60, tested. This has a 93 relative strength. That means in the top 7%. So that's looking very, very good. Also, look at this relative strength line. I know I'm giving you a lot of information here, but this line showing the relative strength. This is the S&P 500 here, and this line is the strength against the S&P 500. So we bottomed here. You notice there was some buying right after earnings. That's really interesting. and then boom, we go way up, and then we move right up. So this is going to recover probably to at least 69.07. Now, here's the thing. This is the higher high, so we have to push through this, and it does look like, and this is a good signature here for volume, it does look like the volume is very high, but it's dropping. Okay, you see that? See how it's dropping? This red line, of course, is the average. So this is an exponential chart. So even though this is dropping, it's still very, very high volume here. And it's looking, so there's definitely some resistance at 69.07. If we can punch through that, it's going to go higher. And it's definitely higher in the after hours, 67.84. So we're close to the buy point. The question is, how will this work on Monday? Let's see if we can buy this on Monday, because this is a good stock and it's a good area. We definitely, it's definitely setting up very nicely. 21-day line, that's where you want to buy it, as close to that as you can, 4% above that. So this is looking very good. If you own this stock, I wouldn't be doing anything with it. This is Fortinet. I wouldn't be doing anything with this stock if I own the stock. I would just be holding on. Would I be adding? You could add a little bit here, but probably wait to see what's going to happen on Monday. This may pull back to the 21-day line. If it pulls back closer to the 21-day line, that would be a great place. But I wouldn't sell this right now. This is in an upward trend. Let's look at let's look at the weekly chart. Just kind of show you this cancels a lot of the noise, so we can see kind of better kind of what's going on. But let's look at that. There we go. This is the this is the chart for Fortinet. And as you can see, we made our low here. This is the weekly chart here. This was 2 quarters ago. All right. And we've had some great profits coming in here each quarter. So if we look at the quarterly stuff, we went here, we gapped up here. This is the second quarter. Let's look at that. And now in the third quarter, we're looking good too. So I would not be a seller here, but I would want to make sure that it holds either the 10-week line or the 21-day line. If it moves below the 21-day line, you probably want to reduce. But right now, it's looking very good. So thank you for that, Lisa. Let's look at Sarah. This is OLLI. Is this Ollie's Burger? No, Intel. Let's look at Intel first. I'm holding Intel. It's funny. Intel is one of these stocks that, I bought it because I didn't buy it because of the technicals. I can tell you that the technicals have been not stellar on Intel. Intel, had reduced its workforce significantly, and I love it. Such a useful business for getting fired, but reduced its workforce. And I thought we were going to get some support at the 200-day line. It does look like we got some support, but not at the 200-day line. It's below the 200-day line. Let's take a look to see how far below the 200-day line we got some support. So we're about 2%, 1.79% below the 200-day line. So it looks like support is about 29 to 29.50. That looks like where the support is. Now, interestingly enough, as we moved up to the 50-day line, we had selling action. People are taking profits here. This has got a lot of overhead supply. And then when we hit that 29.50, people started buying again. I want to check one thing on this really quickly, and that is what they call the overhead supply. And then let's look at the overhead supply for this stock. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. So this is Intel, INTC. And it does look like, if I'm going back in time in the Wayback Machine, well, it would help if I'm on the daily chart because it doesn't show it on the weekly chart. All right. Am I showing it? Am I showing it? Well, let's look at the weekly chart again. There may be a setting that I don't have. Ah, yes, there it is. Okay, so let's look at it. All right. This is the overhead supply line right here. And what this is this line is 18 months. So this is back 18 months. Now, if you notice, this has fallen off the cliff since 18 months. So here's one of the issues that we're going to have with Intel going forward. As it moves, it's going to get up to a certain place, and it looks like about 34, and then people that have been holding it for a year or so, they're like, I want out, so they're selling it. So we've got to clear some serious overhead supply. That's why this is a bottom. This is kind of why I'm bottom fishing here. You'll notice that it looks as if the bottom on Intel is right at about just a little bit below 25, about 24 is where it looks like the bottom is. So this is sort of bottom fishing. Now the question is, will it collapse and go lower than? I doubt it. I doubt it. But 24, obviously if I could have gotten right at 24, that would have been better. But I do think that, this is going to be probably, this is probably be a longer term hold for me, not a swing trade. But I'm figuring, about 24 is going to be where the bottom is. Now, how far can it move up? Well, it can easily move up to 34. We know that because that's the range here. We know that it can move up to at least there. And I do think we're going to get some support here at about 28.50. I think we're going to get some support there. So that's my 2 cents on it. All right. Let's see if we can. OLLI. Let's look at OLLI. All right. OLLI. Okay. Ollie's Bargain Outlet. This is a great company. By the way, it's funny. I have a workspace that I work out of near Southern Methodist University. It's actually a co-working space, and one of the friends there that I've made is working with Ollie's Bargain Outlet. So I got some kind of insight on it. I think this is a great stock. Also, I really think this is a great stock. And if we look at the weekly chart, we can kind of see. Let's zoom on over to the weekly chart. Yeah, there. Okay, so we're at Ollie's Bargain Outlet. So let's look at the weekly chart here and see. Well, it looks like we've got this beautiful cup formation, and this is a second stage cup. The pivot on this one's 72.27. So we're getting up there. We're at 68.52, and we're up in the after hours. So this is getting some nice support. We had good earnings, it looks like. Let's check the earnings. Now, retail stocks are, interestingly enough, you wouldn't think so, but retail stocks are some of the best stocks in terms of making long-term money in the stock market. I know this sounds very, very weird because you think, geez, Jim, I mean, the market is, the consumer is tapped out, and it's not a good market. But one thing about the way that this works is typically we see that typically as a company in this space is expanding, that's really when you want to be in. That's really when you want to be in a stock like this. Why? Because the expansion is typically when the stock price goes up. And that's one of the things that Ollie's Bargain Warehouse is doing. They're moving into more locations. Now, one of the good things about Ollie's, I don't know if you've checked them out. I actually went by one that's close to me here in Mesquite, Texas, and it was pretty good. They buy overstocks from other stores that are not doing as well, and then they sell them at bargain prices. So it's an interesting store, kind of like a I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like, well, maybe it's sort of like Marshall's, but nicer. And they've got all kinds of things in there, so it's a real interesting store. But there's looking pretty good. They had some pretty good they had the pretty good earnings here. Their sales were up 10%. That's really important. But more critically, especially in the retail space, their profits were up 22%. So they're buying their overstocks very, very well, you can tell. Also, the thing about this, they've got positive cash flow, so they're not negative. Their PE ratio is a little higher than I'd like it to be. It's 44. But here's the thing. There's a reason for it. And why? Well, we've got potential we've got earnings that are forecast to move 13%, 2025, and in 2024, they're likely to go up 58%. So we're going to why is this? Well, the main reason that I believe that their earnings are going to potentially move up 50% is because they're opening locations. That's key. And so that's the key in retail is you want to get them in the national rollout. So in the national rollout, that's when you get some of your best deals. But I really like Ollie's Bargain Outlet. I think it's a great company. And, unfortunately, we're in such a challenged market. I mean, I wish we weren't in such a challenged market. But this one, if there's anything in retail that's likely to do well, it's going to be something like Ollie's Bargain Outlet. So I think good choice. I think he got in a good place. Again, we're still in this cup formation, but we're moving higher. So good deal there. All right, let's take a question from TikTok. Thank you so much. Thank you for liking the live. I so appreciate it when you like it because it really helps me out here. All right, let's see if we've got any more here. All right, let's talk about another stock. I'm looking to see if there's any questions from TikTok. All right, it looks as though let's take a look at CRM because this was the leader, Salesforce, CRM, and yeah, there we go. Okay, and let's move over here and jump in to Salesforce. All right, Salesforce is just kind of moving along. We had a buy point right here at 178.84, and that was back basically at the end of January, right there at the end of January. And then we've been kind of doing well since. Now, one of the things about this, at least today, we're off a little bit in the after hours. I think you can see that. Here we go. So we're off a little bit in the after hours. 201, we're down from 281, so about 30 cents. But we're sticking above that 21-day line, so that's looking good. We're about 2.3% above the 21-day line, and that is not a bad place to be. So this is looking fairly good. I mean, we have 8 out of 9. Only thing is sales percentage is not going up as high, but this is a very large stock. This is in the Dow and in the NASDAQ, so very, very large stock here. Would I buy this one? Well, I'm not as excited about it, but it's I'm warming to it. I'm warming to it. I don't know if I would definitely be in this one, but it's looking pretty good. So I would stick in this one. I wouldn't sell it. This didn't give you a sell signal or anything, so you could definitely stick in this one. All right, this is probably the last one. ENPH. Let's look at that. ENPH. Okay. Enphase. Oh yeah. Okay, I know develops. Okay, this is also for the photovoltaic. Yeah, this is taking. First Solar also took kind of a dive too. Yeah. We had this was a short. Okay, see, we're in the downward trend. Yeah, this is a classic short. Okay, notice that this is sort of a head here. This is the left shoulder, and then this is really the right shoulder here. Kind of weird. Left shoulder, peak, right shoulder. Now, what am I talking about here? Well, when it comes up to the right shoulder, what happens is this is obviously, this is always the best place to short it. It's hard to short, though. So this is not easy. Here's one of the things, here's some of the clues that this stock gave us. You notice this red line here that crosses below the 200-day line. This is what they call the death cross. Okay, so this means this is weakening. So it's doing better in the long term than it is in the short term. So that's weakening strength there. Then, as you notice, it comes down, and then it finds a floor at 183, bounces, comes back up to 187, then makes a run for 230. Now you can see why 230 is key. Everything's easier in retrospect too, by the way. So when this is going on, it's very, very hard to see it. But it comes up. This is the lower shoulder, and then boom. On earnings, they had bad earnings. You can see that. On earnings, this is one of the reasons why if you're not up 10% in the stock, typically it's a good idea to possibly thin it or sell it if you didn't buy it right. So it comes up, it then comes down, it bounces at 159, and then it comes up. Now, here's the thing. This stock is probably shortable. All right. This probably, what will happen is it'll probably rally. The best thing to do is to let this thing rally to the 50-day line and then short it at the 50-day line. So let's take a look at the 50-day line. We are 14% below the 50-day line. Here's what you can do if you want to play with shorts. Now, playing with shorts in a confirmed uptrend is risky. Okay, I'll be honest with you, because right now we're not in a market in correction. We're in confirmed uptrend. But if you wanted to short this, you would short this at the 50-day line. So if you're in the stock, well, I think that you're going to be, you're going to be disappointed. So if you are holding this one, keep pushing your stop loss up. Eventually, it's going to pull back, and then you'll be out hopefully with a small loss. So, but this is shortable, and I think the place to short it is going to be basically at or around the 50-day line. You'll notice that it came down, it bounced once there. Now this isn't quite perfect because it bounced a little bit higher. So you notice that. Now if it comes back up and it rallies to the 21-day line, that's probably where it's going to collapse again. So that's my take on it. That's my take on it. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for taking a look at the show. I always appreciate it when you come by. If you're not already a member of the our mailing list, it's really easy to do. I'm trying something new, so hopefully this will work. If you look at our little QR code there, you can take a picture of the QR code. It'll bring you right to the screen where you can sign up for our action trade alerts, and that is easy. Hopefully you can see this on TikTok too. So take a picture of that little QR code, and there's also alternatively, if that doesn't work, because sometimes it doesn't work. If that doesn't work, just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. So either the QR code or www.dallastradingfloor. All right. Thank you so very, very much. If you could like the show, always that really helps us, and subscribe if you're on TikTok or on YouTube or on Facebook, because we're on Facebook too. So that would be a very, very helpful thing. I really appreciate it. All right. Until Monday, and we'll be back on Monday, hopefully about 5. Happy trading, everybody.